Welcome to Smart English Stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English stories. I can understand English but can't speak it fluently. This realization hits me every time I find myself in situations where I have to communicate with native speakers. The comprehension part is never an issue. I can follow conversations, read books, and even watch movies without subtitles. The challenge arises when it's my turn to speak. My mind goes blank, my tongue feels heavy, and the words seem trapped somewhere between my brain and my mouth. It's as if there's a barrier preventing my thoughts from flowing out smoothly. Growing up, English was always a part of my education. From a young age, I was exposed to the language through school, television, and books. Listening and reading came naturally to me. I could easily understand the nuances of the language, pick up on idiomatic expressions, and grasp the context of conversations. However, speaking remained a distant dream. In school, the focus was primarily on grammar and writing. We had oral exams, but they were infrequent and often scripted, leaving little room for spontaneous conversation. As I moved into adulthood, the situation didn't change much. In my professional life, I could read reports, understand presentations, and follow meetings in English without any trouble. However, when it came to participating actively, I hesitated. The fear of making mistakes and sounding foolish loomed large. This anxiety was a constant companion, holding me back from expressing myself freely. I remember the first time I traveled to an English-speaking country. The excitement of the journey was marred by the dread of having to converse in English. Simple tasks like ordering food or asking for directions became monumental challenges. My heart would race, and I would rehearse sentences in my head, only to have them come out jumbled and incoherent. It was a humbling experience, highlighting the gap between understanding and speaking. Over time, I realized that my fear of speaking was rooted in perfectionism. I wanted to speak flawlessly, without any grammatical errors or awkward pauses. This unrealistic expectation created a mental block, preventing me from practicing and improving. I decided to address this issue by adopting a different approach. Instead of aiming for perfection, I focused on communication. I reminded myself that the primary goal of speaking a language is to convey thoughts and ideas, not to impress others with impeccable grammar. With this mindset, I began to seek out opportunities to practice speaking English. I joined language exchange groups where people from different backgrounds came together to learn each other's languages. These informal gatherings provided a safe and supportive environment to practice speaking without the fear of judgment. I made friends with native speakers who were patient and encouraging, helping me build confidence with each conversation. Another significant step was incorporating English into my daily life. I started thinking in English, narrating my thoughts and actions as I went about my day. This helped bridge the gap between understanding and speaking, making the language feel more natural to me. I also practiced speaking in front of a mirror, which allowed me to observe my expressions and gestures, making my communication more effective. Listening to English podcasts and watching shows with diverse accents and speaking styles further enriched my learning experience. I paid attention to pronunciation, intonation, and the flow of conversations. Mimicking these patterns helped improve my spoken English, I also enrolled in online courses that focused on speaking skills, providing structured practice and feedback. Despite these efforts, there were still moments of self-doubt and frustration. I often compared myself to fluent speakers, feeling inadequate and disheartened. However, I reminded myself that language learning is a journey, not a destination. Each conversation, no matter how flawed, was a step towards improvement. Embracing mistakes as learning opportunities was crucial in overcoming my fear of speaking. One of the biggest challenges I faced was the lack of vocabulary. While I could understand a wide range of words when reading or listening, recalling them in conversation was difficult. To tackle this, I maintained a vocabulary journal where I noted down new words and phrases. I made a conscious effort to use these words in sentences, gradually integrating them into my spoken language. This not only expanded my vocabulary, but also made my speech more fluent and expressive. Another hurdle was the influence of my native language. The structure, intonation, and rhythm of my mother tongue often seeped into my English, making it sound unnatural. To address this, I focused on the differences between the two languages and practiced speaking English with native-like intonation and rhythm. Recording myself and listening to the playback helped identify areas that needed improvement. Conversations with native speakers were invaluable in refining my speaking skills. I paid attention to their feedback and observed how they constructed sentences, used idioms, and expressed ideas. These interactions also helped me understand cultural nuances and social cues, making my communication more effective and contextually appropriate. As I became more comfortable with speaking, I sought out public speaking opportunities. Joining a local Toastmasters club was a game changer. The supportive environment and constructive feedback helped build my confidence. Preparing and delivering speeches improved my ability to organize thoughts and articulate them clearly. The experience also taught me to handle nerves and think on my feet, skills that are crucial for effective communication. Reflecting on this journey, I realized that the key to overcoming the fear of speaking English lies in practice, patience, and persistence. It's essential to create a positive and supportive learning environment, whether through language exchange groups, online courses, or friendly conversations. Embracing mistakes and learning from them is a crucial part of the process. While I still have moments of hesitation and self-doubt, the progress I've made is significant. I can now participate in conversations, express my thoughts, and connect with people in English. The journey from understanding to speaking has been challenging but immensely rewarding. It has taught me resilience, humility, and the importance of continuous learning. In addition to these methods, I discovered that immersing myself in English-speaking environments was incredibly beneficial. Whenever possible, I attended events, workshops, and social gatherings where English was the primary language. These real-life interactions were invaluable. They forced me to think on my feet and adapt to different accents, slang, and conversational styles. Initially, it was intimidating. I often found myself fumbling for words or misinterpreting context, but each interaction was a learning experience that contributed to my growth. Reading aloud was another practice I adopted. It might sound simple, but it was incredibly effective. By reading books, articles and even scripts out loud, I worked on my pronunciation and fluency. This exercise helped bridge the gap between my passive vocabulary words I understood when I read or heard them and my active vocabulary, which I could use in conversation. It also improved my intonation and rhythm, making my speech sound more natural. Practicing with technology was another helpful strategy. I used language learning apps that focused on speaking skills. These apps provided instant feedback on pronunciation and offered exercises tailored to improving fluency. Additionally, I utilized speech-to-text tools to practice dictating my thoughts. Seeing my spoken words converted to text in real time helped me identify patterns in my speech, including common mistakes and areas for improvement. One significant challenge was dealing with different English dialects and accents. Understanding English is one thing, but speaking it with clarity can vary greatly depending on the region. To navigate this, I exposed myself to various accents through media. Watching British dramas, American sitcoms, and Australian news broadened my auditory palette. It was fascinating to observe the subtle differences in pronunciation, vocabulary, and expressions. Mimicking these accents was not just a fun exercise, but also enhanced my ability to understand and be understood by a diverse range of English speakers. I also found value in engaging in solitary practice through journaling and monologues. Keeping a daily journal in English allowed me to express my thoughts without the pressure of real-time conversation. This practice helped me organize my thoughts and experiment with new vocabulary and expressions. Recording monologues on different topics also served as a valuable self-assessment tool. Listening to these recordings highlighted my progress and areas that needed work. A breakthrough moment came when I realized the importance of thinking in English. Initially, my thoughts were in my native language, which I then translated into English. This process was slow and often led to awkward phrasing. Training my mind to think directly in English made my speech more fluid and natural. It was challenging at first, but with consistent effort, I found myself starting to think, dream, and even argue with myself in English. Connecting with a mentor or language coach can be incredibly beneficial. Having someone to guide you, provide feedback, and offer encouragement makes a significant difference. My mentor helped me set realistic goals, provided personalized advice, and celebrated my achievements. This support system kept me motivated and accountable, ensuring that I continued to progress despite the challenges. Understanding cultural context is equally important in mastering spoken English. Language is deeply intertwined with culture, and being aware of social norms, humor, and idiomatic expressions adds depth to your communication. Engaging with cultural content, such as literature, films, and history, enriched my understanding and made my conversations more engaging and authentic. Incorporating English into hobbies and interests was another effective strategy. Whether it was joining a book club, participating in online gaming communities, or attending cooking classes conducted in English, these activities provided a fun and relaxed environment to practice speaking. When you discuss topics you're passionate about, the focus shifts from the language itself to the content of the conversation, making speaking English feel more natural and less daunting. Overcoming the psychological barriers associated with speaking English was a significant part of my journey. Performance anxiety often triggered a fear of judgment and failure, leading to avoidance. To combat this, I adopted mindfulness and relaxation techniques. Deep breathing exercises, visualization, and positive self-talk helped reduce anxiety and build confidence. Reminding myself that making mistakes is a natural part of learning allowed me to be more compassionate towards myself and less fearful of speaking. Attending language workshops and seminars provided structured opportunities for practice and feedback. These sessions were often led by experienced language instructors who offered valuable insights and tips. Participating in group activities and discussions during these workshops also helped me practice speaking in a controlled yet interactive environment. Engaging in regular reflection and self-assessment was crucial. After each conversation or speaking practice session, I took time to reflect on what went well and what could be improved. This habit of self-reflection helped me identify patterns, set goals, and track my progress. Keeping a progress journal where I noted my experiences, challenges, and achievements provided a tangible record of my journey and served as a source of motivation. Building a supportive community of fellow learners was immensely helpful. Sharing experiences, challenges, and successes with others who were on a similar journey created a sense of camaraderie and mutual support. We celebrated each other's progress, provided constructive feedback, and encouraged one another to keep going. This sense of belonging and shared purpose made the journey less isolating and more enjoyable. Engaging in creative activities like storytelling, role-playing, and improvisation also contributed to my improvement. These activities required me to think on my feet, use my imagination, and express myself spontaneously. They added an element of fun and creativity to my practice, making the learning process more enjoyable and effective. Recognizing and celebrating milestones, no matter how small, kept me motivated. Whether it was successfully ordering a meal in English, having a conversation without significant pauses, or receiving a compliment on my speaking skills, each achievement was a testament to my progress. Celebrating these moments reinforced my confidence and encouraged me to keep striving for improvement. This journey has been transformative, not just in terms of language skills, but also personal growth. Overcoming the fear of speaking English has taught me resilience, patience, and the value of persistence. It has opened doors to new opportunities, friendships, and experiences that I would have missed out on otherwise. The journey from understanding to speaking is ongoing, but with each step, I become more fluent, confident, and connected.